Yeah.
All right. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So every college athlete's journey starts with a decision. So what made you choose the University of Tampa and what stood out the most about their program during your recruiting process?
The biggest thing for me when choosing Tampa was that because it's a D2 school, it gave me the opportunities to still have the college student life and as well as the athletic life. So I had like an even balance and they really prioritized school over just athletics. So that was a good thing. And then there's so many other pluses to Tampa along with that. It had everything else I looked for in a school outside of just track. And I wanted to make sure I was choosing a school that's other than just an athletics standpoint. I needed like the full circle of everything that I was looking for. So,
Yeah. I mean, speaking of that, like track and field is all about, performance, especially in your events and stuff like that. So, like, what are the times, rankings, or metrics that you Tampa coaches look for in hurdling and can, yeah, like just in
yeah,
general, like
yeah,
about?
sure. So when you're the past 2 years we've had like a tryout. So we would practice in the fall season up until November and have tryouts. So you had to hit a time of, and it's been going down every year to be more competitive. My first year, you had to run like 13:1 for the 100 meters, and or you had to run 27 flat, 27.0 for the 200. For the 400, you had to run a 101, I believe, and for hurdles, you had to run 15.30 to be competitive for the 100 hurdles. And I think it was a 105 for the 400 hurdles. And then this past year, they dropped the standards a little bit. So you had to reach 12.8 for the 100. I think you had to do 26 like point 0.8 or something around like mid 26-second 200s. Hurdles you had to do, it was also I think 15.2. So it was just like a little bit under 15.3, which was the year before that. 400 hurdles was the same, 105. So it's around like an average competitive kind of collegiate time. And obviously, as time goes on, our program gets better every year. We have more competitive people coming in. They just keep dropping the standards, so it's tougher to make the team.
So do you guys have to do that, like try out every like season? Is that like how it works? Or do you,
We've
once you're on, you're on?
we've had that the past 2 years, but it changed this year. So now they have a set roster, and they had like specific times or like groups of people like all the people on the team from this past year already have their roster spot saved for them for next year, which is how a lot of D1 schools are. But um the past year, last year, they had it changed too. So like they had like an A and B standard. So if you hit the A standard, which was a more competitive time, you had like a competing roster spot. If you hit the B standard, the coaches would take you if someone stepped down from the A roster or if like something happened, they could fill in. But with the low amount of people we had with track in general, there were no B standard people. Everyone made the A standard.
Why was
So
it so small? Was it just because we have a small school or was it?
it's not just like a lot of people just don't seem to stick with it because it's a very difficult program. It's the 6 days a week practicing, 3 hours every day. And so we start off with like 20 people in the fall semester ready to compete and like practice to get through to the actual spring season. And then people just drop as the year goes. So then we ended up with 13 people
Wow.
for sprints. And then there's like 20 or 30 distance athletes.
That's like crazy.
Big difference. I know, it's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, so like with the right exposure, that can pretty much change everything. So what camp showcases or meets would you recommend for high school student athletes hoping to catch the attention of college track programs like Tampa?
Right. So if someone's looking to compete at like a Florida school, because me being from the Midwest, my coach wasn't really looking at anybody outside of that region, and he mainly looked at distance athletes over sprints. Um, but if someone were like in the state of Florida looking to be looked at, I'm pretty sure they have several meets there's only one indoor stadium in the state of Florida that a lot of coaches would go and spectate. Or if you just compete at a higher level and make it to like the states or regionals meets, that's where a lot of coaches will scope out for athletes. And that's where I really got a lot of recognition, where it was like at conference, sectionals, and state. And then after those three meets are where I had a lot of people reaching out to me.
So like what would be like one piece of advice you'd give to athletes then to stand out when they attend like these kind of showcases or recruiting events?
I think a lot of it is with how you act when you're with your own coaches, when you're going through your warm-ups, how you act before your meet, because coaches pay attention to more than just your race. They pay attention to how you come off the line after you race. If you like throw a fit, they keep that in mind. They factor in everything. And the work ethic you have when you're warming up, or how you stretch, take care of your body. So being mindful of just having yourself like in that headspace, um, and how you like speak to other people, they'll pay attention to that. Um, I think just, yeah, preparing yourself for like if you were to go into like an interview almost, it's kind of like that with competing, you're showcasing yourself. It's your first impression to these coaches who are looking for who they'd potentially want on their team. So,
Yeah, I mean, like reaching out could really feel intimidating sometimes, but like that's
sure.
necessary to do those things. So, like,
Right.
what is the best time for a high school athlete to reach out to, I don't know, like the University of Tampa coaches, and what should that first message kind of be to them?
Uh, what I had was I spoke to my coach because I had somebody reach out to me asking the same question, and he said that he only looks for people to communicate with them about the school when they're in their junior or senior year, and they would when he has an email, and along with that there's an application questionnaire to fill out all your athletic statistics. So for my coach for Tampa, he looks for that recruitment questionnaire to be filled out, which holds all of your standards, what you've hit time wise, and then tells you what you're wanting to study, name, where you're from, all the typical information. And then following up with, hi, like, my name is Lindsey Kownick. I'm a sophomore in high school or junior, whatever. And then filling out, I run these times with these events. I'm interested in this school. I've gone on a visit, or I would like to go on a visit. Reaching out about that and showing interest in the school, the program, what it has to offer, and looking for more information. And then what I did, since I was 1,000 miles away from Tampa, I scheduled a phone call first before the visit and spoke with him one on one, and then asked, would I be able to meet you when I come on my visit? And that's where some people have the opportunity to come and see a practice or like meet the team. Sometimes they offer overnight stays for people who are from out of town. There's a lot of different options, but the first step is just to send that email and fill out a recruitment questionnaire.
Yeah. Well, like even when you come to visit, for you visiting, what was that like visiting the University of Tampa, and what should recruits kind of pay attention to when they tour campuses?
They should definitely pay attention to like the environment, how I looked at how people acted, and like what I noticed was at Tampa, people were always studying. And that's just because in between classes, people grab all the seats on campus. It's a beautiful place to study. Um, Pay attention to like the classrooms, what they think of that, and what resources they have offered on campus. Um, a thing for if they're looking at the team specifically, if they get to see the practice, see the team work ethic or how the team kind of functions together, if there's like camaraderie or if it's just kind of everyone's on their own, pay attention to that part and see like obviously making sure they have let alone just the major that they're looking in or other options in case they ended up switching their major for something else, having those different things to go into it.
Yeah, I mean, like, was there a moment for you when you felt like you sealed the deal with the coaches or anything like specific you said that made you stand out in that way?
Um, Probably when I got to just speak and hear from my coach, and he told me how, like, he was like, "You are one of the top athletes I'm looking at right now." That was like a kind of thing that's like, oh, like that's really good to hear. And being told that like I could fit in with the team and he's willing to make things work for me, as well as like making those adjustments to meet the team, furthering my options with like him showing that he wants me to be a part of the group too. That kind of sealed it because when you're looking at schools, you want to be more than just like a number that everybody always says. So, but other than that, just going on the visit alone, like seeing everything that Tampa had to offer was like in it itself. My parents saw me and they're like, "You're always smiling walking around the campus. Like you look genuinely happy. You like everything. It has everything you've been looking for." So that's what already like sealed it in my head that I wanted to go to Tampa.
Oh, that's so fun.
Yeah.
But well, so I've seen you like are you sponsored with like that bubbler? So like I don't how did that come about and like what's been the most
Right.
exciting part of that partnership? Because it just looks cool because I see you always post it.
Yeah, so with being a student athlete, you have the opportunity for NIL club deals, which is name, image, and likeliness. So I have a couple friends on my team who also do different NIL deals, which like you could do it through Hollister and they'll give you like some sort of like coupon gift card or thing to get like stuff for promoting other things. Or I had like a skincare deal where they gave me a $50 coupon that if I purchased like however much skincare I wanted, I would get $50 off. And I had to just promote it by making like videos or like two videos and an Instagram post or something. And so for Bubbler, I reached out and filled out an ambassador program, but they reached out to me and said that since I'm a student athlete, I would be better for their athlete team, which they send me 1 to 2 um no, I they sent me 4 packs of Bubbler every month. This month I got 8 packs of drinks, which they're all like 6 packs, so it's like 48 drinks and they
Uh-huh.
send it every 1 to 2 months. As long as I post either 4 posts of their bubbler on my like Instagram story or 1 post in my feed each month. So I just have to fill up that criteria and it has to be like, oh, the bubbler drink is like the main part of the picture and I have to use like 3 hashtags for it. But it's super like low maintenance and I love their drinks. And like as silly as it sounds, it's like, oh, the drinks are great. But it's really good and it's just a kind of a nice thing. I used bubblers before my races. I always drank it in high school, so 14-year-old me would be like jumping off my seat because it's so cool. So
Yeah, I mean that is cool, but like so balancing like, classes and practices and IL deals, it's not easy, right? So how do you manage the demands of social media and brand responsibilities while staying focused on, academics and being an athlete? Because you're also a nursing major, right? So you're like
right. Yeah.
you do a lot. How
I
do you
got a
manage?
lot going on. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's definitely difficult and it definitely took a little bit of time to really get my head in the game and figure out what I was going to do, how I was going to do it all. But with obviously what everybody says is time management, I'm a very scheduled person, so I would sit down and like at the beginning of each semester I've written out like an hourly schedule, which obviously fluctuates, but it helps me set in my mind what I need to prioritize, what I need to do when I need to sit down and study or when those small times I have for myself and what I want to do, whether it's go to the athletic training office and like go in the ice bath or if I have time to read a book. do something else for myself because that's the thing I learned was along with all my studying and, you know, like posting stuff, which that really doesn't, the club deals, that's like the least of my things, but they creep up on you quick. It's like, wow, it's already the 23rd this month and I still haven't made one of my posts yet.
Hmm.
So, it's really keeping yourself writing down stuff in a planner, like keeping that all like in my head. But it's very difficult, but it's very manageable once you know how to how to schedule it out, how to manage it. And I do that just my good old planner. That's got
Yeah,
me.
that's
Yeah.
amazing. I love a good planner.
Yeah.
But yeah, so like you've been in this game for 3 years now, so like I guess focusing more like on advice for future recruits and stuff, what traits or personality qualities should prospective hurdlers highlight when contacting the University of Tampa coaches and like what like for you was the key things and like advice you would give to people wanting to be recruited?
Yeah, I think a big thing is work ethic. That's the number one thing that will get you through every practice, every workout, every lift is everything you give is what you're gonna get out of it. So really prioritizing that. And you can see it in just how you go about your everyday life. It's not just hurdles or lifting, everything. It's literally every aspect of your life, as well as integrity, being able to do like what you're doing without and knowing what you have to do without having to have somebody watch it or keep accountability of it, which accountability is also a really big thing that every coach looks for. They don't want somebody who's going to be slacking while they're not paying attention or they have to keep reminding them of everything that they need to do because coaches, they'll watch out for you for your grades. If your GPA is getting low, that's one of our options that if you go below like a C or a 2.8 GPA, they set up a study group for you, which is a good option in case that's ever needed. But, you know, they don't look out for you in every single aspect. Like being able to trust that your athlete's going to be accountable for themselves and their priorities. They're the main things that our coaches look for sure.
So is the study groups more like a U Tampa thing, or is it like is that normally how it works like in different?
I'm not sure. I've only ever heard of it here at Tampa. Which I've never been a part of the study groups, and I don't know that anybody on the girls' team has had that, but I think they will, like, I think that's more of a Tampa thing. But I do know that there's a lot of people who do come together and study together without it being like, oh, your GPA is low and you have to. It's
Hmm,
just like part of our team ethic together that we'll all do our work together.
cool. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, grades are obviously still a huge part. So like
Right.
I don't know if you know or remember, but like what, especially now, but what kind of GPA or ACT or SAT scores should recruits aim for if they are specifically wanting to compete and stay eligible for U Tampa?
Yeah, so if they're looking for Tampa, definitely having, I am not a great test taker. I knew that since I was like back in high school, but I got a 970 on the SAT, but I still got into U Tampa with that, and I had a 3.7 GPA, and that was when I'm not sure if it was when the acceptance rate was 56 or 26. I know it's lower now than it was, but definitely having just like aiming for that higher GPA standard. I know there's people who've gotten in with a lower standard GPA with like a 3.2, like a 3.0 even, but because I think Tampa does look a lot into extracurriculars and involvement in high school volunteering too. So I also don't know. I think that Tampa needed the SAT and ACT, but I'm not sure.
Yeah,
So
I can't remember because I think when we were freshmen, I don't think it mattered, but like now I think it
yeah.
kind of
Yeah, I think
that's
so.
yeah. I don't know. I feel like that's also different with each year because like
I agree. Yeah, it is because everything fluctuates. But obviously, shooting for whatever, like that's what my mindset is. Like, I just go for as high as I can rather than like, oh, I'm already at like this level. Like, I don't need to go better. That's a
mhm.
big thing too with college. You like want to shoot for like the highest you can.
Yeah, well, like that's kind of, I don't know if this is kind of equivalent to the next question, but like, what's your number one tip for athletes trying to get noticed, whether that's through a highlight video, a personal email, or like something else? Like,
Yeah.
is that kind of your mindset and you hope for others is like just to and be the best and like try to push yourself?
Yeah. See, it's hard to actually it's you don't want to shoot for being the best because something I learned in college is there's always somebody better than you. In high school, I was the best hurdler and runner on my team in high school. I was in the top group of states and stuff, but then I broke my foot during race. But um, you learn quickly once you commit to a school, like even at D2 college, we'll race against a lot of D1 schools. And when we go to those meets, I'm in like the 30th, 40th, like of competitors. And then it really puts you in perspective. Like, I'm not here competing for a place, especially when I'm at Tampa, but I'm competing against myself. Like, I'm in it for myself and my team rather than like the numbers. So that was a big thing, but a way that I got myself out there too to get noticed was making an Instagram with my like highlights, each race, times, place, location, um, and just posting on that because I had some schools like Butler University from Indiana reach out on there, or even communicating with your coaches. Like your coaches might like high school coaches, they might have connections. I had Indiana State University reach out to my coach, and he handed off the letter saying that, oh, like this school's looking at you. University of Wisconsin was looking at you. So stuff like that. Just finding connections is a big thing.
Hmm. Yeah, for sure. I would say that. But yeah, I'm just like curious. So like everyone's got like a pre-race ritual, right? So like do you have any of those fun,
Right.
quirky, meet routines or superstitions or like a song that you like have to like get
Yeah.
hyped for?
Yeah. So I'm a very superstitious person. I try not to be, but my team all learned it too. I have like lucky hairstyles, lucky hair ties. I have to have like four Skittles like 15 minutes before my race. I tie my right shoe before my left. And like there's all these things that I do. And like if I have a bad race, I'm like, okay, I have to switch my hairstyle. I can't race in this anymore. So like I'll go through hairstyle phases or I'm like I can't wear those socks because it throws me off. Super superstitious. And like I have these bracelets I wear all the time, but I can't wear this one when I run. I don't know. Super. It's all in my head when it's also not a good thing to be like, oh, well, I wore my unlucky bracelet, so that's why I raced bad, or I had a bad hairstyle. I messed it up. But the hairstyles is what's kept me going every time I find it, and I'll stick to that one as long as I can.
Mhm. Have you like adopted any of your other teammates like ritual stuff? Like do they have certain ones that
Other than our freshmen actually this year brought in team prayers before every race we did together, unless you were racing alone, like you could pray alone. Um, but our team, we all like make sure to pray together. Or, um, I know one of my teammates, she had always three nerd gummy clusters before racing too. Um, but I'm trying to think of what the other ones are. I don't know what other people's superstitions are. I know there's a couple other people on my team that are superstitious too. Like certain socks they'll wear. My friend, she has like a certain pair of underwear she races in. Yeah.
you have like a bubbler before and you're like ready to
I
go?
do. Yes, I forgot. I left that out. Yeah, bubblers are actually what I have like every time. I before I got my being on their athlete team, I borrowed one from my teammate and I was going through like a rough patch. I wasn't running well. I drank the bubbler and I ran great for like 2 days in a row. And it was after drinking bubblers and I was like, I have to have a bubbler every race. And so I've done that ever since too.
That's funny. If okay, so if bubbler made a flavor inspired by you, what would it be called and what would it taste like?
Oh, that is such a good question. I would do something fruity. I definitely like fruitier drinks. Um, Ooh, this is such an interesting question. Um, Maybe like I really like strawberries, and I'm trying to think of another fruit I like. Because I like strawberries and blackberries because all of them are like pomegranate acai or
Mm.
triple berry or watermelon lime. So if it was like a strawberry, some other, I really like mangoes too, like a strawberry mango like sprinkler. Because I also love
Ooh,
sprinkles. Something fun like that.
there
You
you
know, I
go.
think that could be tasty.
Do you know what you would call it?
Mm, all their names are like they have like a certain one that's like a orange dream freezer, so something along that kind of
Oh,
thing. Like like I would probably do just like strawberry mango sparkler or something. Something
cute.
fun.
That's so
Yes.
fun. Well, that was pretty much all the questions I had, but you were great.
That's
You did
good.
amazing.
Thank you. You're